Hey y'all, welcome to my home again. This time we are in my dining room and the corgi oh, there's his fluffy butt right back there. So if you guys hear barking in the background, you know what's up. So today we're going to be looking at persuasive techniques in the movies. And what's cool about today's lesson is we're going to do an example together so you can kind of see how we break down a speech. But then you guys are going to get to choose your own. There's 6 different choices. You guys are going to get to choose your own movie speech to analyze today. So you got some choice. So the first thing I want to do is make sure you're watching this video in its entirety because I'm going to do our mini lesson in this video today. Then once this is over, you're going to click on this link right here and make your own copy of the movie speeches slideshow. Remember just to click once, otherwise you'll end up with like 5 bajillion copies. Yay! So we're looking at speeches at the movies and why are they so dang inspirational? Lead characters in movies always seem to know just what to say to pep up a team or to rally the troops. We want to look at how they actually do that. In this slideshow, you're going to choose one movie speech after looking at an example to watch and analyze to see what they do right. So we're going to go through an example from the movie Remember the Titans. After I go through that, you guys will have your own choices of which movie you would like to analyze the speech from. So I'm going to go ahead and click on where these are all hyperlinked. So for the example slide, I'm going to click on next slide, and let's look at this together. The first thing you're going to notice is that the text is very small, right? You probably are starting at it zoomed on, there we go, zoomed on 100%. Let me zoom this up there. So on the outside, I give you guys a couple tips. The first tip is to zoom into 200%. So you can do that by clicking View and then go down to Zoom and then click on 200%, or you can just use the handy dandy little tool right here, the little magnifying glass to zoom in. So the very, okay, sorry, technical difficulties, you know, Murphy's Law, right? So the first thing you want to do on each slide, or on your slide when you get to yours, the first thing you want to do is look at the background. When we look at a argumentative or persuasive, argumentative speech or persuasive like appeals or techniques, the first thing that you really want to do is know, hey, what is the background of the speech? Who's making the speech? You want to know a little bit about them. You also want to know the context of the situation. All of those things really matter when we analyze speeches. So at the very beginning of the slide on the top left-hand side, it'll actually give you that background. We'll read that in just a second. Below that, there's going to be you can click the link to watch the video. See if I can get rid of my little thing here. Okay, so you can click this button to watch the video, and then that'll take you to actually watch the speech. Most of these are between 2 and 3 minutes. And then after, it says as you watch, but after you watch, you're going to come down here and actually get to annotate the speech itself. I have the text for the speech that you guys can read along, and you're going to annotate for the parts that you think are ethos, pathos, or logos. As a reminder, a couple things can be all 3, right? So it's kind of complicated. We'll look at that together too. Finally, you guys will come over here, and this is organized for you guys so that you can look at how we actually analyze speeches. If you ever go into persuasive speaking or you ever go into any type of business, chances are persuasive speaking is going to be very important to you, very important for you or your company, right? Whether your company is carpet cleaning or your company is some type of installation, or it's a huge 401k company. If you're talking, you need to know how to do this. So the first couple of things we look at when we analyze a speech, we look at, hey, who's the speaker? What's the occasion? Like, why are they talking? Who's the audience? Who are they talking to? What's the purpose of this? Like, why is the author actually making the speech in the first place? So that's SOAP, which spells soap, and then the last part we call stone. So this technique we call soapstone. We want to know who is the subject, or not who, what is the subject? So what is this speech ultimately about? And then what is the tone of this speech? As a reminder, a tone is what mood is the author going for when he or she is writing this? And how do they achieve that tone? That will eventually, give us a certain mood when we're reading it. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this example together. Here we go. So the first thing I want to do is read the background because that's very, very important, especially when we fill this out over here that says occasion. Suburban Virginia schools were segregated for generations. That is, until the year when all students were sent to T.C. Williams High School under a federal mandate to integrate. Remember the Titans progresses through the eyes of the football team, where the man hired to coach the newly integrated football program, Denzel Washington, who's African American, is made head coach over the highly successful white coach. Based on the actual events of 1971, the team struggles with racial tensions, but eventually becomes the unifying symbol for the community as the boys and the adults learn to depend on and trust each other. All right. Made sure to give credit there. Summary adapted from imbd.com. All right, so I would play this video for you guys to watch. It is absolutely incredible, but because I'm at home, I'm on my laptop, the audio quality will be terrible. So I'm going to read this to you. I recommend that you just pause the video and skip over me reading this and watch the actual video clip on your own computer. When you open up the slides, you'll be able to click on this because it really is quite moving. So what happens is they're not getting along. Coach Boone makes them all jog and run for several hours starting at 3 a.m. And they arrive on the battlefield of Gettysburg, which was a massive battle that took place during the Civil War. So particularly important location for this team who's struggling with these racial tensions. So I'm just going to ignore all this underlining and stuff and just read the speech right now so you guys can hear it. Anybody know what this place is? This is Gettysburg. This is where they fought the Battle of Gettysburg. 50,000 men died right here on this field, fighting the same fight we're still fighting amongst ourselves today. This green field right here was painted red, bubbling with the blood of young boys, smoke and hot lead pouring right through their bodies. Listen to their souls, men. I killed my brother with malice in my heart. Hatred destroyed my family. You listen, and you take a lesson from the dead. If we don't come together right now on this hallowed ground, we too will be destroyed, just like they were. I don't care if you like each other now. I don't care if you like each other or not, but you will respect each other. And maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll learn to play this game like men. So that's his speech. The next thing we're going to do, you guys have this key. It shows that Ethos is orange, Pathos is green, and Logos is blue. So this part you guys are going to do with a Scribble tool. Let me go down to another one really fast just to kind of show you. So this is one of the movies you could pick, We Are Marshall. In order to actually mark where you think Ethos is, and you don't have to underline, you can just kind of circle, you're going to use the Scribble tool that's up here. So yours might be a line right now. It might be all kinds of stuff. But here on this menu, if you don't have this bar, yours is probably hidden. So you can just expand that. I think everybody can see that bar though. So go down until you see the one that says Scribble. You'll click Scribble, and then don't worry about the color or anything. Just find what you think is Ethos. So let's say that I think that this sentence is Ethos. So I have no idea. I'm just picking something, right? All right, so I want to make sure that Ethos is orange. So I need to change the color of the Scribble I just did. If you guys look up here, the line color, you can control that. So I'm going to click on orange. And there's my Ethos. You need to have at least one example of Ethos, one of Pathos, and one of Logos, if you can find all three, circled in your speech. Or you can use an arrow to point to it, however you guys want to do it. And you'll do it with those colors. So make sure you have one of at least each of those. In a real speech, there's some overlap. So if you guys look down here, I chose for Ethos, Gettysburg, 50,000 men died right here, and the way he talked about we. I really wanted to circle all of these because these are all different things. Ethos, he's giving the place credit by saying this is Gettysburg. And then he's giving the place credit by saying 50,000 men died right here on this spot. And then he uses a different type of ethos here where he starts bringing in the whole team. He doesn't say, you've done this, you've done that, you need to do this, you need to do that. He's saying we need to come together or we will be destroyed. So his ethos here is saying that he is not more or less than his team, that they are all on equal footing and they're all in this together. So that was the ethos I circled. For Pathos, as a reminder, you're looking for anything that inspires emotion. Most of your speeches are filled with pathos. For this one, I picked where he talks about, he gives the imagery of the soldiers dying on the field with the bubbling blood and the lead pouring through their bodies. And then he says, and you take a lesson from the dead. That all seemed very emotionally like powerful to me. So I circled that in green. Finally, with logos, all the things I found for logos for logic were already like circled for the other stuff. So I decided to underline it. So for logic, for logical appeal, I said, anybody know what this place is? This is Gettysburg. This is where they fought the Battle of Gettysburg. 50,000 men died right here. So for that one, I chose logos because those are facts that like bring them in, like hard facts. It's not a great logos for me to choose, but I mean, it's still there. So I actually really like this logos right here because it's appealing to our logic. It's making a logical statement. If we don't come together right now on this hallowed ground, we too will be destroyed just like they were. So that is logic in and of itself right there. It's great. All right, so if you come right over here and you start looking at your questions, all these questions are going to pretty much be the same for every single movie that you look at. Speaker through, it'll all have like these same categories, speaker, occasion, audience. So use a combination to answer these, use a combination of this top explanation up here and the speech itself. So for example, the first question says, who's the speaker? It's Coach Boone. What's important about him? He's the head coach. What's the occasion? I said, hey, segregation ended and their football team is a hot mess. Their school and community are a hot mess too. Who is the speaker addressing? He's speaking to the whole football team and the coaches. What is the speaker's overall goal? He wants them to respect each other and become united, working through overcoming racial tensions. What's the main idea of the speech? I actually had to read the speech about 3 times to myself in order to sort of like really get this. So I was trying to figure out a way to say it in one sentence, but I couldn't. So the main idea of the speech, what I said, I want to incorporate like all the pieces, like a summary kind of, right? The Civil War was already fought and many people died. We can't keep fighting the same fight. It's time to come together and move on. And then what is the speaker's attitude towards their subject? How do we feel about the situation? If you really want to get the tone, you need to watch the video clip. That is the best way you guys can get the tone. I said that he seems frustrated but hopeful towards his team's problem, and the team seems open to the message for the most part. So down here at the bottom, there will be 2 or 3 more questions that are pretty short. Those are going to be about ethos, logos, and pathos. In order to answer these questions, you need to come over here to the ones that you marked. If you guys are having a hard time distinguishing between ethos, logos, and pathos, feel free to send your teacher a message or just look back at last Monday or Tuesday's student work, and it'll do like a review of what each one is. Alrighty, so what you guys are going to do now on your own is open up these slides. I'm going to zoom back out to 100% and choose your movie. Let's say I want to do Harry Potter, so I'm just going to click. Actually, hold on. I got to get off the magnifying glass, yo. I'll just click that. There we go. If you click it back on the cursor, it won't keep zooming in and out. So I want to do Harry Potter, so I'm going to click on that link, and this is the page I'm going to do. So again, I need to zoom in order to do this to 200%, and then I'll answer all of my questions. You can just double click and then get rid of the text and then type whatever you need to. What happens if you accidentally move something and everything gets messed up? So where's my Harry Potter thing? Let's say that I do this and then it's like, oh God, what is happening? I don't understand. You can undo anything by just clicking the undo button or hitting Control-Z, and it'll move things back. Finally, to turn this in, you'll go to the slide that you filled out, take a screenshot, and then turn that in on today's Canvas. That's a wrap, guys. Happy movie speech watching, and I hope y'all have a good one. Bye for now.